What is up, guys? This is Pinzo back with another video today, and what I have for you guys is another top 5 video. Today we have offlaners. We did carries and mid laners already. Today we're starting to get into a couple of the more kind of complex ones, right? Offlane jungle have a lot of heroes, period, that you can pick in them, but a lot more matchups and stuff, and we will be talking about some offlane matchups as we go through the heroes today, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, we're going to jump right into this. You guys kind of know what's up at this point, right? This is offlane. These are going to be, generally speaking, some bruisers. There's actually one non-bruiser in here, a tank, all that kind of stuff, right? As far as honorable mentions go, heroes that aren't quite making the top 5 for one reason or another. Honorable mention number 1 is Wukong. This champ is pretty good, very uncontestable, right? You can do whatever you want, invade. That is pretty good. I just don't want people to play this hero. It's a very, very cancerous, like unhealthy play style that I don't think should be incentivized. I uploaded a video on it. I almost regret it because I hate seeing this character. So he is good. You just build crit, or you can build attack speed, or you can build bruiser. It honestly doesn't matter. You clear the wave and do whatever you want after that. Aurora is another one that doesn't quite make my list. Aurora is a really good counter pick to tanks. She's really good against Sevarog, Richter, Morn. Decent against steel, but a little bit less good against steel. But she's really good against tanks. You have max HP damage in your passive, so you're able to just kind of walk at them early game, which is generally speaking when tanks are the weakest. So she has a very good matchup against them. And then once you get a first item online, you go Fist of Riz first. Then you are able to just kind of walk around the map. You insta-clear the wave. You can go get green. They have to clear their wave. She's pretty good against tanks. Another honorable mention goes to Steel. This is a character that he's just been nerfed a lot. I do think he's really good if you need a tank on your team. We'll talk about one that is better than Steel, but he's not the worst option. He has a little bit more pressure in his lane. He can fight back a little bit harder. He has really good crowd control, of course. If you think you can set up for your team, like if you're in gold and you're 5-stacking, right, with a bunch of your friends, if you think you can set up for them, you can get like you can win the team fights late game. Steel is still a good option. And then last honorable mention on the list goes to Feng Mao. Not quite top 5 in my opinion. I do think he's quite good. I don't think he's top 5. He has a pretty good laning experience. You would go the duelist augment. Sorry, I just lost that word for a moment. The duelist augment. And you do actually have a pretty good laning phase on this character. And then late game, you can just kind of play to clean up fights, right? Get your passive stacked on Fang 2 or 3, and then you're pretty strong. I just think he's a tiny bit less consistent. You also have to be better at this hero, like just a slightly harder hero to play than most of the heroes that'll be on this list, but is still good if you want to play him. So moving into our top 5. Number 5, this is going to be like kind of the weirdest hero on this list in terms of different from the rest of them. It's going to be Countess. Countess, she was bugged on patch day, so if you played her patch day, they fixed the bug where Countess's Eventide could not be thrown vertically. That got fixed this morning as I'm recording this. So it is fixed now, and she is very good. She is very good against tanks. She's good against bruisers. Anyone who wants to build HP kind of just loses to Countess early game, especially. And then it's kind of weird because she has this big spike like level 2, 3. She's really strong, and then she kind of falls off on like one item, but then on 2 items, she just wins again. It's a little bit weird power spike. You'll have to play her a couple times to learn exactly when you can push and when you can't. As far as augments go on Countess, the isolation damage on her right click on her blade siphon isn't bad. I don't hate it, but I think Bloodwell, which just got buffed, is insane. It's just absolutely nuts. This isn't really a split push character. You can split push, but you don't take towers very quickly, right? You do push waves well. You don't take towers very quickly. Not a very good split pusher. Your goal is to go into team fights and clean them up, right? You get your 1 kill and then try to play your life from there. That's basically how it goes. Bloodwell lets you do that incredibly well. When you get a kill, which you are pretty much guaranteed to do if you full combo someone on Countess, you get a Bloodwell that spawns, and it heals you if you stand in it for like 4 seconds for 45% of your maximum HP. That is really good. I think that augment is too good to pass up. I would recommend going Bloodwell. The ISO damage isn't terrible if you're not as confident in being able to get that kill. Minor augments, you're going Voracity, Farmer on the vast majority of these heroes. I think you're going Farmer on all of them, and then Voracity is on most of them. A couple of them will use Technocrat instead, but Voracity, very good. As far as builds go, you're going Tempest pretty much every game. There are some arguments to go Stasis, but realistically, I think just going Tempest is better. You get Crest online pretty quickly as Countess, and when you finish Tempest, you're uncontestable until the enemy laner gets their Crest. It's a really huge power spike in lane. You auto win a 1v1 because you have Tempest as long as you're not behind, and that is pretty valuable. As far as the builds go, the most popular build that's floating out right now is kind of a weird one. It's this Tainted Scepter Noxia build. And it's kind of funky, but the thought process is there. It works. It's a very good build. Don't get me wrong. The first time I saw it, I was like, what? And then I saw it a couple more times. I'm like, okay, I get it. Basically, the thought process is, generally speaking, you're playing Countess against tanks, right? So Noxia, lots of value on this. You get 6% of their max HP every time you step up to hit them with 2 abilities. You're playing Countess. You really like hitting people with 2 abilities anyway, right? You hit someone 2 abilities, they're already taking 6% of their max HP as true damage. Now they're taking another 6%. If you just do this to people on cooldown, this is like an 8-second cooldown. People just start dying. They will just start dying. The Tainted Scepter, in the vast majority of games, you need this. Has some HP on it, which is really good. A little bit of bonus damage on it as well. But it's just, you're going to need the anti-heal. Even for anti-healing, like health potions and stuff like that, it's very strong. A lot of people that I've seen playing it are going tier 2 Tainted into Noxia. I think that's okay. I think it's fine. I think there's not really a big reason to not just go full Tainted, but that's also fine. As far as starts go, on the majority of these heroes, you are not starting with an item. You are taking Crest and upgraded Divine Potion, level 1, by the way. That is, like, especially on Countess, you want to be able to click more buttons than your enemy laner. You want to be able to use all your abilities. Go Divine Potion level 1 in the offlane. It is really, really strong. So just side note, I kind of forgot to say that. The rest of the build is like pretty standard, what you'd see on Countess, right? It's just kind of Overseer, incredible on this hero, right? Very, very good. Caustica, again, you're mostly playing Countess against tanks. By the time you hit 3rd, 4th item, you're going to need the Caustica online. Yes, your passive is true damage. Still need Caustica, otherwise your abilities do nothing, and you're only doing passive damage. It is very good. Wraith Leggings, this is sort of your flex slot on this build, but the vast majority of the time this is going to be Wraith Leggings. If the enemy team is squishy, this can be Combustion. It's okay. I think Wraith Leggings is just too good to pass up. And then O-Crown, I will say, if you are playing Countess into a poke character, like generally speaking, if you're playing Countess into another mage for some reason in offlane, either Moragesh or Gadget or Gideon or something weird like this that wants to poke you down, go take out Wraith Leggings and you're going to go Lifebinder first item. This would be Lifebinder first. And then the whole build just gets shifted back a little bit. So just keep that in mind. This is an option. You do not need it against tanks. You heal enough off the wave against tanks that you don't need it. But against another mage poke character of some kind, Lifebinder is very nice to keep you alive in laning phase. So that's going to be it for Countess. As always, guys, if you guys have questions about anything, let me know in the comments down below. Next up, we have another magical character. Going to be Kwang. Kwang did get some nerfs coming into the balance patch this week, but I don't think they were actually that bad. He got like 60 base damage taken off of his kit rotation, which on Kwang, you have to keep in mind, you're an ability spamming character, right? It's not just 60 damage. It's over the course of a fight. It's going to be closer to, 120, 180, 2-3 rounds of abilities. It does matter, but the character's really good. He does a lot. He just has a lot of abilities, has a lot of setup, has really good laning phase. Same thing as Countess, level 1 on this character. You're taking Crest plus Divine Potion. You are not going a tier 1 item. It just really isn't worth it. As far as build goes, for augments, you are going the ultimate augment on Kwang, the one that lets you ult back to your sword out of base, the one that reduces your ult cooldown by 20%. That augment is incredible. Highly recommended every game. And then for minor augments, you are going Technocrat on this hero, and Farmer are your minor augments. For your Crest, this is usually going to be Tempest. There are some arguments to go Stasis in some games, but generally speaking, I do think Tempest is better. Against tanks, Kwang does have 2 builds here, by the way, so I'll go through both of them. They're very similar, but against tanks, this is going to be Orb. I really like Orb against tanks. You're very safe against tanks in lane, so you don't really need to worry about it. You don't have a lot of kill pressure on most tanks either, even if you go an aggressive first item. So the thought process is, if I can't kill him and I'm safe anyway, might as well go Orb, get stronger late game. I think it's very strong. And then this is going to be your Kwang core here, which is Oathkeeper Magnify. Obviously a very good Spellblade character because you are permanently clicking buttons, so you're always getting your Spellblades. This is a very good item core. It lets you one-shot squishies. Magnify helps you out against tanks before you get any other penetration online. So this is what I'd recommend. As far as the rest of the build, you have 3 HP items. You're going World Breaker. It's really good. It gives you a lot of damage. You don't really have an issue. Your passive damage will work for dealing magic damage. So you don't really have too big of an issue keeping World Breaker passive up in a fight, but just the base stats it gives you are pretty incredible. And then I like, so this is like a full AP build. I think that the full magic power Kwang build is really good. I almost think there's no reason to go tank. There is a tank build you can go that is basically, it's this, and then you go tank items after this. You just go tank, you go Cresselia Oathkeeper full tank. I think it's okay. I don't think it's amazing. I think if you are confident that your team can kill people, I think it's pretty solid. But I think the full AP build is generally speaking better. You absolutely will one-shot backliners with this build. If you ever hit a tether on the enemy carry, they're just dead. They're just dead. Tether into Lightning Strike into ult, and they die. It is over for them. They have no counterplay, and it's really good. Being able to instantly delete one of the enemy heroes is a really good build. You do have to team fight on this build. You have some split push ability with Oathkeeper, but it's not great. You are better off being in team fights on this character, just generally speaking. So against tanks, I think the Orb first is better. Against squishies, this basically just pushes the build forward. If you're against another damage dealer, it's hard to go Orb because you have to fight more for lane pressure if they have kill pressure on you, right? That kind of thing. You just have to fight more for your minions, and Orb isn't great if that's what you're doing early game. So I just like to go Oathkeeper first. It gives you a lot of damage, good base stats, right? Magnify gives you the Omnivamp that you need, and then the rest of this build just kind of gets pushed back. This 4th slot is probably Overseer in a build like this, just to make sure that you do fully one-shot that backline, and that's pretty good. You would build this against characters like Countess or Moragesh or even like Grux. You're skipping the Orb against like Grux, Greystone, etc. You're just going to skip the Orb and go into the rest of the build because you just need to be active on the map just a little bit sooner. So this is the Kwang builds. Again, when I'm doing these builds that kind of have multiple options, I'll make sure to put both options in the description down below. And the builds, of course, are also listed in the description if you guys want to go see them there. Otherwise, if you guys want to hear the explanation, of course, they'll be timestamped. You can go to the point in the video. Next up, this is a funky one because this character in the past has been one of those that's like good, but you could get farmed if you play it wrong or if you get behind. Right now, I just think he's straight up good. This is Grux. I think he's just straight up good. As far as augments go, you're going the lifesteal passive, your old Grux passive, basically. When you fully stack someone or something with your passive, you gain Omnivamp against it. It's really good at just winning you 1v1s. That is what this character does. You mostly want to sit in lane. You will start rotating to fights like around Fang 3, but realistically, you give up the first 2 Fangs. If the enemy offlaner rotates to them, bummer. Push tower, right? Go get some camps. You're not going to those. You want the 1v1 on this character, and the build will kind of show you why. As far as Crest goes, this is usually going to be Iceskorn Talons. You can go Eviscerator, actually. This item just got buffed. It gives you Omnivamp now when it's active, which is pretty strong, actually. It does just take away like a little bit of your tankiness, right? This is 100 HP. This is a much better Crest in lane. Like before you have it evolved, the rank 1, rank 2 of this Crest are much better, make you safer. I would recommend Iceskorn Talons. If you're against like a Sevarog, Eviscerator is not a bad choice. As far as the build goes, this is where it gets a little bit funky. It's just Ashbringer. It's a weird build, man. It just works. Like, I truly almost can't describe it, but it is just Ashbringer first. When you get this item online, as long as you have a mana bar, you just auto win. You automatically win any 1v1 in the game. It is kind of gross. It is just one of those items that even after the nerf, it doesn't really matter. Grux, if you pull the wave plus the enemy hero and then right click, you have all your abilities back. It's really good. Auto wins you 1v1s. And then you just kind of go tanky after this. Like Salvation second is really popular to just give you, it gives you a lot of HP. It gives you the shield. It gives you tenacity. It gives you power. It's all the stats that you want. You don't need to build more ability haste because you have Ashbringer. You're always getting your cooldowns reset by a percentage, so you don't need more haste. Ashbringer's doing it all for you, so you don't really have to go more haste items. After this, it can be things like Rapture. I'm going to struggle to find some of these items. There's too many physical items in the game. Oh, Rapture is not a power item, is it? Yeah, it's going to be stuff like Rapture. Again, a non-haste item that gives you a lot of damage, right? Stuff like that. And then I would recommend going some tank items on this build. It sounds kind of gross, but you do kind of need some tank items. Gaia Greaves, really strong. Really, really good item. Void Helm, same thing. Really good item. Again, just makes you tankier, gives you HP. The goal on this build is basically the fact that you can't die as long as you have mana. As long as you have mana, you're right-clicking every 3 seconds. That heal is incredible, and it is going to keep you alive. These 3 items are enough damage. Your last item is a bit of a flex slot here. This can be another damage item. It can be Citadel. Citadel's very good. It could be Draconum, which is also very good, just a little less tanky than Citadel. But I would recommend probably Citadel last. If you're into a magical matchup in the offlane, you can go something like Legacy as well. Also pretty good. But yeah, this character, you just play safe until you get Ashbringer. You don't want to die before you get Ashbringer. And if you get Ashbringer online and the lane is pretty even, it's game over for the enemy team. You just kind of win at that point. So not much you can do at that point. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I just got dragged into sub a scrim. So this is actually being recorded in 2 parts, but now I'm back. I've returned, and we're ready for number 2. I just left off on Grux. Moving into the next hero on the list, this is going to be the one, like, true tank on the list. It's going to be Sevarog. This character, again, a lot of tanks got some damage nerfs coming into the balance patch that was on July 1st, but Sevarog is a really, really consistent hero right now. He just scales so well, but on top of that scaling, his early game actually isn't that bad. It's just, like, his level 1, 2, a little bit weak. But as soon as you hit level 3, you're just totally chilling in lane. You're able to just sit there and farm as much as you want, and he has some really good matchups as well, like 7 to Greystone, 7 to any other tank. The only thing you really have to watch out for if you're picking Sev is like Countess or Moragesh. Outside of that, you can pretty much blind pick this character and do very well. As far as augments go, all 3 of his augments are usable. The ult augment that makes your ultimate go really far, the home run bat, is okay. You have to be good at Sevarog to get good value out of it, is the main issue. If you are new to Sev or new to offlane, I would not recommend it. The executing Siphon that gives his Siphon and execute at 5%, go figure, is pretty good. The more that I use it, the more that I like it. It makes stacking a little bit more reliable. It actually gives you some weird kill pressure in lane where people aren't safe from Siphon number 1, right? If they're sitting at like 300 HP, they're not safe from that first root Siphon, where normally, you know, if they get tagged by a root, that you get a Siphon and an auto, and then they get to use their movement ability and get away. That doesn't happen because they die to it. So I do like the executing Siphon. That is probably the one I'd recommend. The dash reset isn't bad. Again, it's harder to use. I think for the vast majority of ranked players, you'll get the most value out of the executing Siphon. As far as minor augments go, Regenerator got pretty dumpstered in this patch. It's a really bad minor augment now. I would recommend going Voracity and Farmer as your augments. As far as the build goes, this is the one true tank on the list. This build will work for characters like Steel, Richter, Morn as well if you want to play other tanks. Sev is just the best of them. at the moment. For your Crest, generally speaking, this is near Warboots. Warboots is really, really good at just moving you around the map. It's 15% HP heal. That's really good. All of the tank Crests are viable, though. Like Saphir's Mantle, if the enemy team doesn't really have people who are going to burn HP, then Saphir's Mantle becomes pretty good. Razorback, if the enemy team has kind of undodgeable damage, right? Things like Sparrow Ultimate or Gadget Ultimate or Gideon Ultimate that you as Sevarog don't really interact with. You kind of just get hit by them if they're playing the game properly. Razorback is good because it's again, it's air quotes unavoidable damage. It's not always unavoidable, but it can be unavoidable. And when you're getting hit by it, Thorns is a really good Crest to have, but most of the time your default is going to be Warboots. As far as the build goes, this one's actually pretty straightforward. It's just Riz. Fist of Razuul is a really good item that gives you instant wave clear, and it lets you stack really, really easy. As soon as you get this online, you're good to go. And then as a tank, your second item on Sev, again, you're going Fist first every time. Your second item is where your lane matchup starts to matter. So your next two items are going to be, generally this is going to be Tainted Bastion and Fireblossom. Obviously, if you're against Tainted Bastion got a huge buff this patch. It now has 8 haste on it as well, which is a huge buff to the item. If you are against a magical hero, you're going to go Bastion second. If you're against a physical, it's going to be Fireblossom second. Personally, because of how good Tainted Bastion is, I think that even if you have to go Tainted Bastion second, I do think it's Fireblossom third. I think it just works too well on this hero. I think that it's valuable, even building it this late. You don't really need the wave clear, but the damage in fights is more than you'd think it is. It's not the best item in the game, but there's nothing that quite does the exact job of Fireblossom. And then the rest of your items are just going to be tank items. Frostguard is really good at the moment. Stonewall is also really good at the moment. If you're playing against double carries, if the enemy team is playing carry mid, then this is probably going to be Warden's Faith more often than not. Really good against crit damage. Anytime that they have 2 crit builders, I would recommend going Warden's Faith here. And then last item is kind of up in the air. If you are ahead on Sevarog, if you're 6-0 and you're just slaughtering people in this game, World Breaker is low-key pretty good. You get like 250 power off of this one item as Sevarog. It's quite good. But I don't think it's an every game item. In games where you're even, you do need to keep up in the tank stats. So just keep that in mind. This is probably going to be Giant's Ring most of the time. Gives you your cooldowns back, gives you a little damage mitt in fights when you're ulting people. It is quite good. If you need more magic defense here, this is Void Helm. Or Unbroken Will is another really good option, right? Like if they are very CC heavy, maybe they're split pretty even magic and physical on damage dealing, you can go Unbroken Will here. These last 2 items here are flex slots, right? These first 4 are pretty much set. Like again, these two can switch back and forth depending on what you're playing against, but your last 2 are flex slots if you need them for kind of whatever you want. And then you just walk around and you tank damage and you kill people because this character basically wins every damage race, right? Outside of things like Sparrow Ultimate, you kill them before they kill you is kind of the idea. You do a lot of damage. You can sit in the middle of a fight and tank damage, let your team do everything, or you can kind of play to dive. Both playstyles are equally pretty good. So moving into our number 1 pick, this is a character that's been nerfed a couple times, but honestly, I still think warrants the number 1 spot. I think that he's very consistent when it comes to what you can do on this character in terms of lane. He's also very malleable. You can do many things depending on your matchup, which I think is also very, very valuable. It's Greystone. Greystone in the offlane. His one pretty much unwinnable matchup is Sevarog. It is a terrible matchup for the Greystone player, so just keep that in mind. But against most other things, if you end up playing against a Grux or a Chimera and you take the anti-heal Augment, you just kind of win. It's really good. 50% anti-heal for 4.5 seconds is incredible. So it kind of just auto wins you that early game, and then you don't have to build Tainted. It frees up an item slot as well. I would say about 50% of the games you are taking that, what I think it's called Tainted Oath, that makes your E swing, your big auto do anti-heal, and it's very, very good. The other 50% of the games, I think you're going close cut. I think it's pretty good. I think that the ultimate one isn't bad. I don't think it's amazing. It's good in team fights, but in lane, it doesn't help you at all. The other two both help your laning phase, which is very valuable, even on a character that has a good laning phase. As far as the minor augments go, you're going Technocrat and Farmer on this character. Farmer is really good. Again, Greystone, he has the ability to sit in lane and bully his lane opponent. He has that capability. He's good at it. He also has the capability to insta-clear the wave and go look at the enemy jungle. He can do both, right? Depending on the game state, depending on even within the same game, right? Matchups, all that kind of stuff. He can do both of those things. He's very good at both. So having Farmer is very valuable on him. As far as items go, it's going to be Iceskorn Talons the vast majority of your games. Judgment is okay. It's fine. I don't think it's insane. I think Iceskorn Talons is, generally speaking, just going to be better. Lets you stick on squishy characters on the enemy team just a tiny bit better than you normally would, and I think that is very good. As far as items go, this first slot is usually Earthshaker. Having some attack speed on this character feels really nice. Makes your abilities come out faster. He has pretty good, like, abilities. You want to be able to use them. That was gonna be a really redundant point. Anyway, point being, base stats are good, has attack speed, has the stats you want. It's very good. Your second item is going to be Augmentation. This has been seeing a lot of play. It's very good on Greystone. In the offlane, I do think you have to go Earthshaker first. I think it feels way better to go Earthshaker first and then Augmentation. In the jungle, a lot of the time you'll see Greystone with Aug first. I think in the offlane, the Earthshaker is pretty necessary, so I would recommend it. After that, this is where you're going to go Aegis. This item is pretty broken on a lot of HP bruisers. This item is really broken, so you're going to go Aegis here. It's just a really good item. It makes you gain power from building all the HP, which you're going to be building more. Fourth item, Citadel. This is just like kind of a standard bruiser build, right? Grux is like an exception. I know we went over Grux earlier, who is also a physical bruiser. He's kind of an exception because of how well he uses Ashbringer. You're kind of forced to build a little bit differently on that character. This is kind of your standard physical bruiser build to get through the game. And then after that, you're going to go a couple tank items. Gaia Greaves is an incredible item at the moment. It lets you jump over a couple of small walls on the map, and it just has really good base stats. Ability, haste, tenacity, defense. It's everything you want. And then your last item is going to be Unbroken Will. Just combos really well with everything else that you have. Aegis gives you % increased armor. Unbroken Will gives you % increased armor. You have a decent amount of physical armor from these three, and then you just tack on one extra item at the end. You're 40% tenacity, so CC is not as big of an issue. It's just a really good build. You're very consistent. You can play in the middle of a fight. You can armor shred the tanks and kind of play to make space for your team. You're also a very good dive hero. You can jump on the back line, and you jump on them, and if you hit your jump, you get move speed, your jump cooldown goes down, nobody can get away from you, you have a slow, assuming you have Iceskorn Talons, you have another slow that also gives you move speed. It's just really hard to win 1v1s against as a backliner, and that's pretty valuable. If you just kill the enemy carry, it's similar to what I said with Kwang, right? If you kill the enemy carry, or even if you can't quite kill them, making them not be able to hit the rest of your team is very good, right? It turns the rest of the fight into a 4v4, except they don't have their highest DPS character, so your team should win, right? That's the idea. Very good diver. You can play in the mid fight as well, and he still is pretty good. Just very consistent, has an abundance of play styles that I think warrant the top spot. So let me know if you guys have any questions about the top 5 offlaners list. Let me know if you thought anyone was missing, that kind of thing. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. So as always, guys, I've been Pinzo. This video is Dunzo. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.